Welcome to the deep dive. So today we are locking up the car keys.
We are.
And we are plunging right into what might be the fastest, most consequential urban transformation happening pretty much anywhere in the world.
The Great Cycling Revolution.
Hmm.
It is an incredible, measurable shift.
It really is. And the data we have for this deep dive, it gives us the ultimate benchmark.
It does. We've got excerpts from the 2025 Copenhagenize Index, which is, it's really the global standard for this stuff.
Right.
And they didn't just, look at a few painted bike lanes. They evaluated 100 cities worldwide and ranked the top 30.
And they're looking at it holistically, right? Like, is it safe? Is it convenient?
Exactly. Is it actually appealing? So protected lanes, secure parking, bike share systems, even political will. It's all in there.
So our mission today is pretty simple. We want to figure out what the world's best performers are doing right.
And more importantly, what are the practical lessons we can pull from that for any city?
The first thing that jumps out to me here, looking at this, is the geography of it all.
Oh, the geographic skew is fascinating. It shows how far some cities have gone, but the trend is it's absolute European dominance.
Almost all of the top 30 are in Europe.
Yeah, where these pro-cycling policies are reshaping life at a pace we just haven't seen anywhere else.
And the sources are so stark on this. It says not a single American city cracked the top 30.
Zero.
Yeah.
It's a tough pill to swallow, but when you talk about this kind of mobility, North America, for the most part, just isn't in the global conversation.
Yet.
No.
And there are some glimmers of hope because 3 Canadian cities did make the list.
Montreal, Quebec City, and Vancouver.
Wait.
Which, that sets the stage perfectly for us to analyze what the winners are doing that maybe the rest of us aren't.
And it all seems to start with investment in infrastructure that, that actually works.
And we should be really clear what we mean by works.
Yes.
The index is not talking about those little painted white lines on the asphalt, the ones that offer zero protection.
The suggestion lanes.
Exactly. We're talking about protected lanes, physically separated corridors with curbs, planters, something real. That's the baseline.
Because that's what makes families and new riders actually feel safe.
Perception is everything. And if we want to understand what real commitment looks like, we have to start with the reigning champions. We have to go to the Netherlands.
Right. Utrecht topped the entire list. They're setting the new global standard.
They are.
Okay, so let's unpack that. What does being number 1 in the world actually look like on the ground?
Well, it's a powerful case study in investment. They've achieved a massive cycling modal share.
Modal share, so the percentage of all trips.
Exactly. And for them, it's nearly a third of all trips in the city. About 33% are done by bicycle. And that does not happen by accident.
A third of all trips. Wow. And that reflects a serious level of funding, I imagine.
It's an eye-watering 63 euros per resident annually, every single year. That's a level of commitment that just shifts cycling from a niche activity to a core piece of city planning.
So what does 63 euros a person actually buy you?
It buys you monumental infrastructure. For a start, over 100,000 secure bike parking spots across the city.
100,000?
Including the world's largest indoor bike garage. It holds over 12,000 bikes right underneath the main train station.
Okay, when you think about the value of real estate under a central station, that is a crystal clear message about priorities.
It's prime real estate. And it goes beyond parking. It's about brave policy. They've been reclaiming space from cars, taking over major arteries.
Like what?
Well, a street called the Westerlijk Stads Boulevard. It was a 4-lane artery, sacred space for cars.
Right, high-speed traffic.
And they transformed it into a safe, bike-friendly boulevard. They're so committed, they're actually developing a fully car-free district as we speak.
That's real political courage. And it must also be about social inclusion too, right?
Yeah.
The sources mention a program, feet steals.
Yes, that's key, because infrastructure alone isn't enough. The Feed Steals program makes bikes affordable for low-income residents.
So everyone benefits.
It ensures cycling is a viable transport option for everyone, regardless of their bank account. That's how you truly embed a culture.
Now, what about the city most people probably think of first? Amsterdam. They came in at number 4.
And they still have the highest modal share in our sources. 37% of all trips are by bike there.
So what's their challenge?
I think for Amsterdam, it's about sustaining that peak performance. They've been a cycling city for decades. Their challenge now is adapting.
Adapting to what?
The explosion of e-bikes, tourist congestion, just maintaining safety with that incredible volume. Their investment is about keeping cycling the default, even under all that pressure.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Comparing that sort of slow, sustained evolution with rapid, politically driven change.
You're talking about Paris.
I am. Number 5. They just rocketed up the rankings.
Paris is the story of quick, decisive political will. They show what a huge, complex, historic city can do in a really short time. Bike trips there grew from just 5% to 11% of all journeys in only 5 years.
5 years. For a city like Paris, that speed is just astonishing. What was the key mechanism?
Strong political commitment. And, the willingness to take space directly from cars and just rapidly build out a connected network of protected lanes.
Which proves a major metropolis can do this while keeping its
identity, its historic charm.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you have to acknowledge the implied conflict there that requires confronting decades of norms and a lot of political pushback.
It's the cost of that courage we talked about, enduring the short-term anger for the long-term gain.
Precisely. And then you contrast that with Copenhagen, number 2 on the list. They've long been the gold standard for refinement and density.
Copenhagen is just maturity, cycling maturity.
It is. The density is almost unbelievable. 52 kilometers of protected bike lanes for every 100 kilometers of roadway.
And that supports a huge modal share.
29%.
Yeah.
But even they keep evolving. Their priorities now are about refinement, aggressive traffic calming, expanding their 30-kilometer array zones.
Slowing things down.
And critically, creating car-free areas near schools to protect kids.
Their investment is a bit less than Utrecht's, around 38 euros per resident.
Right. But it's consistent. It's about that incremental improvement year after year, always finding ways to make it safer, make it better.
So 2 very different but equally successful models. Rapid political change versus sustained high-density refinement.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving beyond the top 5, we start to see cities solving these incredibly specific urban problems. Like, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Not at all.
Let's talk about climate. Because the challenges don't stop just because it starts snowing.
And this is where you see real granular dedication.
Right.
Take Helsinki at number 6. In the dead of winter, they clear snow from 150 kilometers of bike lanes.
Right.
Before they clear the car lanes.
Wow. Okay, that's a policy decision that says everything. It says cycling is the priority no matter the weather.
It's not just about shovels either. Look at Oslo, number 18. They have their Vision Zero policies, aiming for 0 traffic deaths.
A lot of cities have that.
But they also offer something very practical. Subsidies for winter bike tires.
So a big policy commitment matched with a small-scale solution that actually helps people.
That's the powerful combination. The policy is the goal. The tire subsidy is the tool that helps the user overcome a real barrier.
Let's pivot to connectivity and logistics, because it's not just about commuting, it's about making cycling work for commerce, too.
100%. And Antwerp in Belgium, number 8, is all about this. They have a major program called the 100 Missing Links.
The missing links, so they're targeting those annoying gaps in the network.
Exactly. That tricky intersection or where a protected lane just abruptly ends. Fixing those small gaps dramatically increases the utility of the whole network.
And the source notes, they have high female ridership.
Which is a crucial indicator. Means the network is perceived as safe and accessible for everyone.
Then you have Bordeaux at number 9, which is really leaning into urban logistics.
Yeah, they have these extensive bicycletteries, secure bike parking for businesses, and they actively support cargo bikes for intercity deliveries.
So they're directly replacing delivery vans.
Subsidizing them to do it. It gets polluting trucks out of the city center.
And Ljubljana, Slovenia at 24, they just went all in on centralization, didn't they?
They did. Their whole cycling-first approach is anchored by a massive 20-hectare car-free city center.
20 hectares. That's a huge footprint.
It just immediately changes the whole dynamic of the city.
Okay, finally, let's look at culture and safety. Münster, Germany, number 7, they have public bike counters.
I love this. It's a simple, powerful psychological nudge. They display the daily ridership totals, so it shows this collective participation.
It makes it visible. And they've also got 40% of their streets with protected lanes.
Then there's Zurich in Switzerland at 22. They're a great example of engineering plus education.
What did they do?
They converted a former car tunnel into a bike-only corridor, a huge engineering feat. But what's really interesting is the cultural part.
Which is?
They require all students to pass mandatory cycling exams.
Get out! So they're literally building safety and competence into the DNA of the next generation.
That's long-term thinking.
And Bologna, Italy, at 25, they've managed to get women to make up over 50% of all bike trips.
And they do it through inclusive planning. Half the city is now low-speed zones, which prioritizes slower, safer transport.
And that high percentage of female ridership, that's often seen as the ultimate measure of success, isn't it?
It's the gold standard for perceived safety. It means the infrastructure has reached a point where it's comfortable for the whole population, not just the brave and the athletic.
Okay, let's bring this all back across the Atlantic. We've seen Europe's dominance. We know no U.S. cities made the list.
But the 3 Canadian cities did: Montreal, Quebec City, and Vancouver.
And they provide these crucial, really relevant examples for North America on how to start this shift away from, total car-centric design.
Montreal at 15 is the clear leader in North America. They focused heavily on creating cohesive, continuous protected lanes.
Not the stop-start networks we see so often?
Exactly. And the results are there. Record-breaking Bixie bikeshare rides, and they developed the continent's first bicycle streets.
And the numbers on that are staggering. The Saint-Denis corridor, it hit 1.3 million trips in just 9 months.
That volume just shows the massive pent-up demand. If you build a safe, continuous network, people will use it.
Then you've got Vancouver at number 30. Their focus seems to be on that hard, politically tricky work of reallocation.
Right. They converted major car lanes, like on the Granville Connector, into wide, separated bike lanes. They made that tough choice to take space from cars.
And Quebec City, number 29, they focused on modernizing their options.
Yeah, they recognize the network needs to be high-tech and convenient. Their fully electric bike-share system just exploded from 100 bikes to 1,300.
Which is key for their steep terrain.
It makes it accessible. And all of this, it just raises that critical question for urban planners everywhere else in North America.
Which is?
What specific choices did these Canadian cities make that separated them? And the answer, time and again, is that willingness to prioritize permanent, physically protected networks over the cheap painted lines that they don't move the needle.
It's that common thread, isn't it? From Utrecht to Montreal, it's the political courage to redistribute space and then sustain the investment.
You don't get a third of all trips by bike by accident.
No, you don't.
So if we summarize the key ingredients we've seen across all these top cities, I think there are 3 big levers. First is just that heavy per-resident financial investment.
Like Utrecht's €63 a year.
Then second, there's that bold political space redistribution. Paris creating lanes, again creating a circulation plan to discourage cars.
The political will that makes the infrastructure possible.
And third, it's those granular, specialized solutions that fit local challenges.
So Helsinki's snow clearing?
Or Bordeaux's cargo bikes, or Zurich's mandatory cycling exams for kids. It has to be a holistic approach.
And this knowledge is most valuable when you actually apply it. These rankings aren't just for, bragging rights. They show real, measurable progress.
Absolutely. Munich went from 18 to 21% mode share in just 4 years. Bologna achieved gender parity. Change is possible even in these old historic cities, if the commitment is there.
And that leads us to the ultimate provocation here. Utrecht, the world leader, is now developing a fully car-free district.
A new global standard.
So considering everything we've talked about, from dedicated tunnels in Zurich to reclaiming 4-lane roads in Utrecht, what single piece of infrastructure or policy from this list do you think would be the easiest and the most impactful to implement in your own community?
That's a great question.
I mean, think about it the next time you see a clogged freeway or an empty bike rack. What would you invest your €63 per resident in? What would make cycling not just possible, but the default safe choice where you live?
That's the question that drives all this progress.
And that is the end of our deep dive. Until next time,